Labour's 2012 budget. That coverage from 12:30 Eastern on Sky News Business. Alongside that, Sky News National taking those remarks. I can tell you Joe Hockey's not the only one with a beef about the budget. The tight spending plan now coming under fire from some young entrepreneurs. They say the government instead should be investing in the future of Australian business. Let's get more now with one entrepreneur, Jeremy Liddle, with me in studio. Jeremy, warm welcome to you. The slice of the pie that's put across your way is ever decreasing. Indeed, it's kind of not there at all at this point in time. Tell me practically what's needed and indeed what you're, I suppose, arguing for.
Well, I was lucky enough about 8 days ago to get the gig to head the Australian delegation over to the Young Entrepreneurs Summit prior to the G20. And so what we're doing, trying to achieve at that summit, is 400 to 500 delegates of the G20 nations, all entrepreneurs under 40 years old, that are trying to drive change in the political and private sector collaboration. So what we're trying to do is, as a collective, create a strong voice that we can take back to our own governments to say, hey, you guys need to be collaborating with us and supporting the young entrepreneurs, because we are the future of innovation. We can create jobs in the economy. We can create greater tax revenue in the future. So far, that's the mission. That's what we want to achieve. I
suppose it's also the type of innovation, because one of the responses might well be, Jeremy, innovation's a dirty word in financial circles. It's what led us down the road to ruin in many ways. Too smart for your own good. Persuade me that it's not just about that. It goes more broadly across the economy.
Yeah, I think that the kind of innovation that young entrepreneurs can drive is going to market and turning innovative ideas into profitable ones that aren't necessarily, leveraged and quite as risky. Because the idea is that when you've got the right support and education behind a business idea, you can drive it in a way that's sustainable.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? Because the business idea being understood by the politicians, it's as unbelievable almost as believing we can get another man on Mars, let alone the moon. I mean, how do you still stick with that idea and not just say, all right, politicians are one thing, they're managers, but let's go out into the real world and just win over business? That's where it really matters.
Yeah, look, obviously winning over the private sector is really important, but there has to be some sort of collaboration, There's so much energy put into getting business support for business ideas, and that'll always be there, but I think that driving it from a public sector and getting that public support is just really crucial. Is
there one kind of initiative, rather than the broad brush of collaboration, that you could go to government and say, that would stick, that would actually give us leverage in this market, so let's run with it? Please.
Yeah, look, I think there's two ideas and two things that I've got in my mind about it. There's one, there's a gaping hole in the private sector, and a big reason that people don't get into entrepreneurship is the risk factor, so that it's risky to go and start a business. And so some support around startup funding and an education program that you could put someone through and say, all right, they've gone through this program, therefore their business plan is sound, it's got the support in mentors and support from the big private and public sector from an educational point of view, and some financial backing. Therefore, that startup's really got legs and it can go a long way. And then you've got the sort of small to medium-sized businesses that have maybe gone through the 2 to 3 year mark, that have the ability to really grow fast, hire a lot of people and generate a lot of revenue, and therefore tax revenue.
Okay, so there are kind of two strings to the argument, and I know there's more to be said, so we will unpack some of that on Friday's edition of On the Record when you're coming back on a panel. But for now, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Jeremy Liddle there, the young entrepreneur himself, and as mentioned, it's going to form part of a more wide-ranging discussion later on this week. Let's, though, just take a very short break. Coming up, we talk China, its economy looking to be on even shakier ground now. The latest when we join Tim Mulholland in Chicago. Here's Janine Perrett's rant, though, before we go any further.